Hello. 2014 has been a great year for us all and for all our special places.
By working together, we have achieved so much.
We welcomed millions of visitors to our stunning countryside.
And cared for some of Europe's and the world's most precious habitats.
The sun came out just when we needed it to, and we've had more visitors than ever before.
We've opened many of our places for 363 days a year.
And others have either been reopened or transformed.
Every ranger, forester and gardener plays a key role in the delivery of the Land, Outdoors and Nature programme.
Our London programme has appealed to a whole new younger audience.
Our volunteers have given their time, energy and passion.
And together we've delivered some really strong results against the Trust's strategic priorities.
There have been some great energy saving initiatives at White Cliffs and Cliveden, plus a new tracker tool.
Our visitor-facing membership, retail and catering teams have just kept on smiling and delivering outstanding results.
Our Let to State programme is realising its potential.
And we also had a new regional director.
And I'm delighted to be here. I'm so proud of everything that you've achieved in the region in 2014. I've been getting myself out and about since I arrived, and I've been bowled over by everything that you're doing and the passion that I see everywhere that I look. There are so many special moments. The play trails at Box Hill, the underground shelters at White Cliffs, Breakers Yard Garden, pop-up Belfront Tower, the World War I exhibition at Scotney, the marvellous programming at Mottisfont, and the chance that I got to work alongside some of the team in the shop at Sissinghurst. We've rolled out cookbook, we've finished the major Let to State work, and we've seen our visitors really start to appreciate the fact that we're open 363 days a year. And to top it all, we launched our first Laser Awards. It was a perfect way to pause and to take time and to celebrate some of the wonderful things that are happening across our region. Thank you so much for everything that you did to make 2014 such a successful year. We will have welcomed more than 5 million visitors to our properties. We'll finish just ahead of budget, and we've grown our membership significantly. 2015 will be an even more exciting year. We'll see SSP really rolling out. Some of you will get new tills, there'll be a new finance system, and many of you will get the tools that you need to really understand our members and our visitors so that you can give them an even greater service and an even better experience. We've got a new 10-year strategy that some of you may have heard about in Dame Helen's Christmas message, or at the various conferences last year, or from your general manager locally. Firstly, that's about our core purpose, making sure that we're looking after our wonderful houses, collections and countryside as well as we possibly can. That means sorting out our backlog and investing where we need to. It's also about doing our bit to make sure that we've got a healthier, more beautiful natural environment, starting in our own backyard, looking after our own land as well as we possibly can, as well as partnering with others to create large-scale habitats and landscapes. We need to really engage people with what we do, give them experiences at our houses and in the countryside that really move and teach and inspire them to love our special places and give them an understanding of what we do. Lastly, we need to think beyond our boundaries, go back to the vision of our founders and think about people who live in towns and cities and how we can help them enjoy the green spaces and the heritage around them. We're leading the way in all of these. One of the things I love about this region and our teams is how bold and innovative we are. We're always up for doing something differently. We have to be. Here's a few examples of us doing just that in London and South East.
The Breakers Yard is a brand new garden that explains the recent history of the site in a playful, humorous way. For years the site was contaminated and disused. We consulted with over 1,000 local people and specialists about what they wanted and needed from a green space in Hackney.
This project has been so exceptional and such a success because it's involved every part of the organisation pulling together to make this project absolutely sing. It's a true example of working in partnership together between operations and consultancy.
If you come to the Breakers Yard, you'll see a double-decker caravan with a historic palace interior, sustainable water feature that takes grey water from the roof of Sutton Place all the way through a play feature and into the historic well, indigenous and edible planting in car trailers. There's an ice cream van designed by Sir Peter Blake's daughter Rose Blake.
We had to step outside our comfort zone and work together in new, exciting and innovative ways to enthrall and excite our visitors and keep them coming back for more.
The launch of the Breakers Yard is an opportunity for local people to show their passion for this brand new space. It was a really colourful, vibrant day that started the Breakers Yard in true style.
The way that we've worked together points the way for a fantastic future. We can do things that make a huge difference, not only for the National Trust, but for the outdoors in the capital and beyond.
The exhibition Arthur's War really came from the discovery of a black metal trunk in our attics, and inside it we found a collection of Arthur Hussey's war diaries, letters home to his family members, maps, battle plans and secret documents. The exhibition opened on the 9th of October and it runs until the 22nd of March 2015. Here in the library, something we've done that's very different that we've never done before. We've actually created a full facsimile of all of the documents that are in that box. I've got one of them here. So this is a facsimile diary written in Arthur's own handwriting that we've had created. I think it says that we're trying to be more open and engaging and allowing people to see what we've got rather than just hiding them away in our attics and our cupboards. In this room, we've produced this canvas tablecloth in front of me here, and the inspiration from these came from Arthur's war maps that we found in the box. One thing we were really keen was that when visitors came, they would be able to get the feeling of the house as well, so see the rooms, really get our spirit of place, but also then be able to enjoy Arthur's War. So we've tried to do the two things in each of the rooms. We're here in the small dining room. We're using this room to commemorate our local men. So all of the men pictured here on the table are men that died from our village of Lamberhurst. And the unusual thing in here is we're asking visitors to leave with us their memories of their friends and family. Visitors have told us that it's been a really great visitor experience to be able to come and handle the documents and then contribute to the exhibition at the end.
In January we opened Mr. Turner an exhibition which will be on for 2 months and is a commemoration in many ways of the film which was partly made here by Mike Lee. The film really represents the most significant cultural event here since Turner himself was in the house in the 1830s.
Well, when you're in a place like Petworth, you really do experience some kind of magic, and Petworth is such an extraordinary and rare and rarefied place, and it's so specifically still as Turner would have experienced it.
This is a room which was used by Turner and other artists in the early 19th century as an artist's studio. So it's wonderful to think that Turner himself actually painted in here, and brilliant that we are able to open it as part of the exhibition. Mr. Turner is the third exhibition we've done at Petworth in the winter months, January to March. Exhibitions such as Mr. Turner take about a year at least to put together, and a lot of that work is planning of transport and insurance and all of the written interpretation which needs to be done in order to see these projects happen. Another great feature of the winter exhibitions at Petworth is that they are so much in line with our spirit of place, which is all about Petworth as a house of art. What makes the exhibitions at Petworth unique for the National Trust is that they're self-contained charging shows for which everybody pays an entrance fee, including members, and they feature major indemnified loans from museums such as the Tate Gallery and the V&A. And retail and catering do especially well during the exhibition periods. In retail particularly, we have a range of branded merchandise, particularly for the exhibitions. The exhibitions have been terrifically popular to the extent that they've all sold out of tickets, but more than that, our visitor experience goes up by 10 or more % every time we do one of these projects, so we really do know that these things are being well received.
This is one of the buildings on Court Hill Farm in Slindon. We had a great opportunity here to do something a little bit different. We had a very generous bequest from a gentleman called John Springthorpe Hunt, and he allowed us to buy back this 350-acre farm, 11 cottages and the farmhouse. We had to think hard about what we wanted from this farm. More biodiversity, better farming, more public access. so we advertised to find someone whose dreams would meet ours.
It'll be great to be actually on the farm and in amongst it.
I mean, there's quite a bit of a change. We've converted the farm to organic, and we're sort of bringing in a lot of environmental stewardship type things, you know, with flower margins and beetle banks and things like that, really, to try and farm just as environmentally as we possibly can.
We're refurbishing this cottage behind me, making 2 cottages into a farmhouse for the new farming family. After about 80 years, we're putting the farmer back on the farm. We've had 2 generations of distance farming where the farmer rarely visited Court Hill Farm. Not all the land is going back to the farm. We're keeping some of the land in hand, and this land, which used to be arable, is going to be part of one of the National Trust's largest woodland restoration projects, the Rise of Northwood.
What we plan to do with this area is turn it back into its former landscape, which was once ancient woodlands. We're going to be planting 13,000 trees, and we're going to be encouraging natural regeneration. For example, this oak sapling in front of us. So we're going to be getting involved with local school groups, trying to bring out volunteers, engaging with as wide a community as possible.
So we're here today with Louise to see the Nutcracker Christmas at Mottisfont. We're trying to move away from these one-off 2-day or 2-weekend events to something like here at Mottisfont, where you've got a big 6-week programme. But it's not just Mottisfont. There's been some great Christmas experiences that I've seen over at the Vine. I took my little son over to Stand End to see Santa in the woodland there. And it's not just indoor properties. You can go and cut your own Christmas tree at Hindhead Commons as well. I think what we've learned from a number of properties, not least Mottisfont, is that you've got to start early. You know, you need to be starting this in January, February. You need to start that work with partners, with the entire property team as well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to you telling us a bit more about how you did it here at Mottisfont.
Absolutely. We've learnt things from lots of other properties too, but I guess we now have a sort of set of key things that we always try to do to put together our Christmas offer that we think have really helped us do something that keeps people wanting to come back every year. My top 3 tips for a great Christmas offer are: know who it's for, what's the market, what do they like, how can you give them that? Plan early, start now, and always check, is there enough to do, is it enough fun? Are you enjoying it? Other people probably will too.
I just wanted to say also a big thank you to all the Christmas champions across the year who've done such amazing work this year. Really looking forward to seeing how you've created some new and old traditions as you get together in early spring, ready to create something quite special for what I hope will be one of the best Christmases ever in Christmas 2015.
5 really great examples of the innovative things that we're doing in the region. And now I want to talk a little bit more about our new strategy and our work on the land, with nature and in the outdoors. And it represents a real change in emphasis for the Trust and builds on the work that we're doing in the region. I'd like to hand to Lawrence Trowbridge, one of our ranger champions in the region, to talk a little bit more about this new strategy.
We're here in the northern end of the Ashridge estate on the Ivinghoe and Pitstone Hills, and this is the largest remaining swathe of chalk grassland in the whole of the Chilterns. Even now, in the middle of winter, as many as 30 plants growing within a single square metre. And we've got things like glaucous sedge, fescue, plantains, and in the summer, this area is covered in wild orchids. So knowing this and being here in this amazing habitat within the Chilterns landscape, it's hard to understand why so much of our wildlife in the UK is in trouble. The truth is, this wonderful habitat here at Ivinghoe is isolated, and a lot of the rare plants and animals that live here can't move in a changing climate. We're all dependent on land which is in fixed supply to meet all of society's needs: food, transport, energy, buildings, carbon management, and of course wildlife, which has become fragmented and has very little room to move. What can the Trust do about it? Well, we are the biggest landowner in the UK for public access, and we have a huge supporter base, putting us in a unique position. The Land, Outdoors and Nature strategy is our response to this. Our own land must be in a good state for its own sake, and so we can talk from a solid soapbox. We also need to look at entire landscapes. Wildlife and natural resources like water pay no regard to ownership boundaries. This means working beyond our boundaries with partners to influence a much wider area. We can't do all this for free. We need to generate funding to sustain our work, and that means new business models. The response to the 50 Things campaign has been amazing. The way to reconnect people with nature is to give them an enjoyable experience, and then they will start to want to care for its future. And the end result of this, a landscape that can sustain itself because it's healthy, beautiful, rich in wildlife and culture, and enjoyed by many. There are over 150 dedicated rangers in our region alone, caring for Europe's and even the world's most precious habitats. We welcome millions of visitors to our outdoor places every year. That's something we can all be really proud of. The Land, Outdoors and Nature strategy is the licence to continue the great work like this that we already do, but to go much further. What we want is a landscape that's truly alive and something that's worth fighting for.
At the heart of everything we do is you, our staff and volunteers. We really want to be the region where you want to come and work, where you get the opportunities to thrive. At the end of the day, it's what you do and how you do it that truly inspires our visitors and our supporters and helps them engage with what we do and understand why we love the places we love and why we do what we do, our cause. So let's have a look and see what our visitors think of what we're doing in the region.
When I think of the National Trust, I think about our heritage, our culture.
Organisations like the National Trust do a very important job.
Well, it's fantastic for us to get the kids out, exercise them, and they enjoy the cafes as well.
It's good to be outdoors, have good fresh air and enjoy the nature.
I'm very impressed by the National Trust, particularly coastal areas.
The really nice thing about it is that you can go to so many different places at so many different times of the year.
Lots of choice, lots of different places to see. Yeah, it's exciting.
As you get an annual membership with National Trust, every time you come it feels like it's free, which is really fantastic.
It's given us a whole new opening in life.
What great comments from our visitors. At the end of the day, that is what it's all about, giving them the best possible service and the best possible experience at our special places. We're a huge region, with a vast array of people, 1,200 staff, 16,000 volunteers, all different backgrounds, different ages. I'm constantly amazed and moved by how deeply people, our staff and our volunteers, feel about the places that they work. Here's just 3 people telling us what motivates them to want to share their special places with as many visitors as possible.
Over the last few years, things have changed quite dramatically, really. A few years ago, we would have been far more out on the ground on a regular basis. Nowadays, we spend a lot more time doing things on the computer because there's a lot more elements that I need to get involved with, such as site monitoring, looking after the large amount of area I have, making sure that everything runs properly, health and safety, lots of things to do with human resources, extra responsibilities with new systems, new projects, grant applications, lots of these different elements. We've become a bit more facilitators, more managers at the countryside. We are just heading up one of the many windy lanes around Leith Hill, heading up to the very top. And I get to work in such fantastic areas, and I work with a really great group of people. Hi Gilly, how's things going?
We're quite busy this morning.
We couldn't do what we do without our volunteers. They're a really core element of our work. Well, thank you ever so much for all your efforts you're doing, and keep up the good work. The view from Leith Hill is so special. We're now going to head over to Denby's hillside, where we're going to meet Amanda McCormick.
Well, this special place where we're at the moment is Denby's hillside, which is in Dorking in Surrey.
We'll be going to see my volunteers who are up on the hillside doing some hedge laying, and we've laid about 2 miles so far. They've done a fantastic job. Volunteers are absolutely amazing. We only have a few rangers on site, so it's really important that they do help us. We're also going to be having a look at part of my tree inspection work. I have to look at all the roadside trees, all the trees on the property boundaries, and establish whether they're safe or not.
What's special about the Surrey Hills is that it's a really amazing resource of amazing landscapes, huge biodiversity, which people don't necessarily see so much when they think of Surrey.
Rainham Hall is a special place to me because I've lived in this area all of my life. We wouldn't say that we have a traditional National Trust audience on our doorstep. Member presentation is very low around here, about 0.9%. Rainham Hall is a huge renovation project, as you can see, to really open up the whole site. So the work that we're doing in the hall is really about bringing back to life all of these stories about former inhabitants and making them relevant to our local communities. We're out in the community and we speak to people. We get a variety of reactions. Some people remember coming here when the hall was a nursery in the Second World War and they have very special memories. And other people have just walked past it and see it as the big house in their local community that they can't wait to get inside. And this is the front door that our visitors will come through next summer when we open. I visited the house a couple of times before joining the project here, and it has so much potential. Not only is it a beautiful Georgian house, but it's got so many interesting spaces and layers of history that there's a real interesting story to tell here. So we're working hard to make our local audience have a real sense of ownership here. We want Rainham Hall to be their big house, so that they always feel welcome here.
It's very exciting that the National Trust have taken this property on in this area. The local community are really rallying round because we've had many donations of plants for our garden here, and they've all seemed very keen to help us out and to make it as special as possible. I just think so many people in Rainham are so looking forward to it. It's such a beautiful place to visit, and we want them to come and see us.
Standon is special to me because it's such a wonderful garden. When I came here 13 years ago, there was very little known about the place. Every day there's something new to discover, and it's a place which really connects with our visitors. Well, this is Goose Green, which has always been the heart of the property. It was very important to the Beales that you arrived through a working part of the property, and now it's where all our visitors arrive, and it's where we hold fairs and events. Margaret Beale, who created the garden here, was very innovative, and we would like to continue her legacy and her spirit by keeping the garden inspirational. This was the original rose garden where Margaret Beale trialled all sorts of different roses. But in the last year we've done lots of clearing work, revealed the rose beds, the iris beds, and most importantly of all, I think, the pond where the Beale children used to swim. Once we've got the pond relined, we're hoping to have days when we'll allow visitors to come and swim. Well, this is the kitchen garden, which is one of my favourite parts of Stand End. Over the last few years, we've really expanded it, and we produce fruit and veg for our cafe and for visitors to buy as well. Volunteers that work for the National Trust are really what keeps all of the properties going, and certainly here at Stand End, there is no way we could do a quarter of what we do without them.
As you can see, we never stand still in London and South East. And 2015 is going to be just as exciting and just as inspiring. I know you're all going to do fantastic work throughout the year. I thought you'd like to hear just a little bit more about just 3 of those things. The celebrations for the birthplace of democracy at Runnymede, the National Trust's biggest conservation project, the ongoing work that we've got at Knowle, and of course, the continuing strides that we're going to make for our land, outdoors and nature strategy in the region.
"2015 is a wonderful year for Runnymede. It's the 800th anniversary of signing of the Magna Carta. We're going to have this massive celebration here, 6,500 people here in June. It'll be huge. It'll have the Queen, it will have politics, it will have picnics. On that day, the culmination of it is the first part of our legacy into the future, with Hugh Locke unveiling a new art commission that will be here hopefully forever.
So we're standing in a spot where my piece of public art will be unveiled on the 15th of June to commemorate the 800th anniversary of Magna Carta. It's quite an international document for me. I see it as something which loads of countries have based their constitution on. It's something which started in this meadow but is spread out around the world.
Hugh's someone that's worked with history, with power, with the ideas of struggle for justice in past work. But this will be his first real major permanent public artwork in this country. I'm trying to create a piece which people take back on their smartphones to Beijing, to Sydney, Brisbane, to Buenos Aires, you know, something which takes Runnymede and just puts it worldwide. But also, if you're local, I'm trying to create a piece which is loved locally, which means has some significance locally, which people are proud of, basically.
So our focus is to make the place look really special in June, make it look like something the National Trust can be really proud of.
It's a huge project. It's the biggest conservation project in the Trust at the moment. We're 3 years in and we've got another 5 years to go. We're working in an amazingly collaborative way, both inside and outside of the organisation. We're working with our regional colleagues, with our national specialists, but we're also working with a huge range of people outside. We're opening our new visitor welcome, which will be a real step change in our visitor experience here. We've got a new bookshop cafe opening, which is a new commercial offer. The studio, which is a £4 million project, will be finished towards the end of next year. And we also start work on the showrooms, which is another £4 million project.
In 2015, I'm really looking forward to opening the new visitor welcome at Knoll and telling some new stories about a house that's been open for a long, long time. The volunteers are busy going through papers, photographs, finding out all of the kind of things that we'll be able to put on display for the first time for our visitors. One of the lovely things about this project is that we have been drawing on specialist expertise, and at the moment we've got some conservators who specialise in historic upholstery visiting the house from Hampton Court, who are looking at ways we can present our ancient furniture better and actually ensure that it survives for the next 100 years for everyone to enjoy.
The region can be absolutely proud of this project. It's just one of the most fantastic projects and it's an absolute flag bearer for the region.
2015 is a fantastically exciting opportunity for the National Trust, not least because it allows us to bring partners into our works by working with Natural England, the Environment Agency, the National Park Authority, Bewley Estates, but also for us to actually get people to see our message on the ground and see a tangible benefit to what they do, being members and supporters of the Trust. Behind you, you're seeing a huge area of heathland restoration that was old coniferous plantation from 2009. That we've clear felled and now got the grazing animals onto the site to elaborate the heathland habitat that's so precious in the New Forest area. This works around us actually helps the habitat as a whole and makes us think holistically about the management of our sites that we take across the New Forest Commons. I think visitors will love to see the story develop as it unfolds, as the heathland restoration continues for many years. Children from any age will come up and grow up knowing the site and seeing the changes over time that will bring support for the future and a fantastic opportunity for us to spread the message of the National Trust.
In 2015, we're really going to take stock of the health of our land and produce a delivery plan that will take us forward for the next 10 years. You'll see the continuation of the 50 Things campaign alongside the Great British Walk. You'll also see pop-up camping at a lot of our properties, and we're going to be a major player in the celebrations for the 50th anniversary of Coast. Well, it's important when visitors come to our outdoor properties that they get the right information, so we're committed to improving 27 of our outdoor sites with new interpretation and new welcome signage for our visitors. It's really important that we tell people that the countryside costs money, and to that end we'll be looking at commercial activities within the countryside and rolling out car parking income, outdoor membership and commercial catering. Landscape and nature go hand in hand with access for people to enjoy it. It's the DNA of the National Trust and one of the reasons that we exist. And with your help, we would love to deliver some improved high quality nature conservation and improve the quality of our land in general.
I'd like to thank you for your hard work and your passion and your enthusiasm, which I'm sure will give us another successful year in 2015. I'm so proud of being part of such an amazing team in London and South East. And I'd like to give the last word to you, our staff and our volunteers, and to let them tell you what they're looking forward to in 2015.
In 2015, I'm looking forward to the opening of a new property.
Wildlife being top of the agenda.
Even more visitors.
Loads of lively events.
A new revamped kitchen.
Restoring the estate.
Exhibiting little seen objects.
Our new welcome kiosk.
Completing the refurbishment of our let estate.
A new, bigger car park.
Our cottages being fully let. More visitor engagement.
Improved accessibility for all.
Learning lots more interesting things about the property.
More opportunities for volunteers.
The new My Volunteering website.
Sharing some great heritage stories.
Continuing to deliver excellent service.
And giving our visitors an even better time.